All right. Learn data analysis with Microsoft Excel. Welcome to tonight's webinar, tonight's training for this scholarship course. Data analysis using Microsoft Excel. Please, if you are joining us, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. If you are in the scholarship group, let them know that we are live this night. Let them know that we are live. If you are in the scholarship group, drop the message in the group and let them know that we are live. Let everyone in that scholarship group know that we are live. I welcome us once again to this night's section. We are going to learn data analysis with Microsoft Excel. This night's section is going to be focused only on projects. It's going to be project based. Please confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Please confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. And if you are just joining us and you are not part of the scholarship group, also indicate if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. If you are not yet a subscriber to the channel, kindly do that. Subscribe, because this is a 6-week scholarship course in data analysis and we are going to be using the YouTube platform. So it will be to the best interest that you do so that whenever we go live, we start the course, you will be notified. I might not be able to drop it in your group, so please feel free to go ahead and subscribe. We are live. Go to the group. Those of us in the scholarship group, drop in that group that we are currently live now. Please help me do that in the group. If you are here with me, we are going to be having to do we are going to see how we can cover 5 projects, 5 real life workplace projects using different niches, education, kind of HR, and also in the area of sales, and management. So we are going to be this night to see if we can in a way handle 5 projects this night. If we can in a way handle 5 projects this night, it will be awesome. It will be awesome. All right. Persons are saying I can hear you and see your screen. Beautiful. I can hear you. I can see your screen. Beautiful. All right. As our tradition demands, if you are just joining us and you are part of the scholarship group, drop your name and your scholarship ID. Remember, we know we have that attendance is mandatory. Attendance is mandatory. Tonight we are going to be having our first project. We are going to be laying hands on our first project for this scholarship course. So if you are joining us just in the scholarship group, don't worry. I heard someone, I gave access in one of the platform I belong to. I guess that's the platform you are coming from. I gave access to that exclusive scholarship course that has been paid for both graduates and undergraduates, 500 for persons to learn data analysis with Microsoft Excel. And there is a scholarship group already those who have signed up for the scholarship. That's the group we are talking about. If you are coming from that the ambassador platform, because I know that's the only platform I gave access for this scholarship course, then after now, do well to meet me. Then do well to meet me if you want to be part of the scholarship course, do well to meet me. You might be given access to the scholarship group. All right, so let's keep it coming. If you are joining us, drop your name and your scholarship ID. Your name and your scholarship ID. All right, tonight, like I said, we are going to be going through 5 different real-life projects, starting as regards to tonight's real-life project in analysis, workplace problems that we can effectively solve using Microsoft and Excel, and then how we can draw some insights as regards to that, as well how we can draw some insights as regards to that. All right, let's quickly proceed. My name is Mr. Franklin. For those joining us today, my name is Mr. Franklin. I'm a data analyst and also I'm a management and recruitment consultant. I'm the lead consultant, Solumac Institute of Tech and Management, and tonight we are saddled with responsibility of training 500 graduates and undergraduates, 500 graduates and undergraduates using data analysis using Microsoft Excel. That is our responsibility for the next 6 weeks, and that is what we are going to deliver. Premium value. The fact that it's free doesn't mean that it's free. Someone have paid for it, and is a premium value that we are going to be getting. We did this course. After today, we will be in the next session. We will be handling data forecasting. We will be dealing with data validations. We will be dealing also with conditional formatting, both basic and advanced conditional formatting. Then after this, we will be getting into pivot tables and how to use pivot tables to draw insights. And then we will be talking about tips and tricks in Microsoft Excel, both basic and advanced tips and tricks that Microsoft Excel, both basic and advanced tips and tricks that will enhance our efficiency and the effectiveness in working with Excel. Then we will be moving into data visualization to be developing dashboards using Excel, and then running Power Pivot, how to data modeling, how to draw insight from multiple tables. That is among other things we are going to be taking through in this course. So I will encourage us not to relent. Remember, if you're in the scholarship group, attendance is mandatory, and submission of your project is also mandatory too. After this night, I'm going to be giving the first assignment. Okay, now let's quickly head to Excel. I have a data set that I have already prepared for this night. We are going to be starting from the basic, from the less complex work project into a kind of more advanced workplace project. That's what we are going to be starting this night from. We are going to be starting how to school results. Let's say this is secondary school, how to design their result. I just added this color so as to give some color. It's not a must that you put these colors. I'm not even a fan of color. I just show us that yes, you can in a way put colors to your work. All right, now tonight we are going to be looking at this data set. Let's say we are having ABC International School second term results, senior class 2, that's ABC, and here we have their serial number. Then here is the student ID. Now under the student ID, I can decide to format it center aligned so as to have a kind of separation between it and the student name. And then I can also decide to format the student name under being center aligned in this manner. That is dependent on us. Is totally dependent on us. All right, now here are the test scores. The English, Maths, Chemistry, Biology down to this, and then we have here total test scores. Now under this total test scores, I need to format this in order to separate it from others. So let me highlight this. I need to format it using border in order to separate it from others. So having to do that, I will go to this place, border, and then select where is it, outside border. That I will select outside border. Now when you look at it, it will be is kind of being outside border. Another thing I can do it to show us here is I can apply color on the border. So once I highlight that, I can go down here, go to more borders, and then come to this color. I will select white. I need to use white. Then come to the outline, select the outline here, the outline border, and then click OK. Now if I move away, you see that is the border white. All right. Now having done that, this is the exam score, and this exam score we have here total exam score. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing to it. Let me go to this and then come to this place, the same color white, which is this, and then select this as well and say OK. Now we have that white. All right. Now we are going to be looking at how to calculate grades. We are going to be looking at how to calculate grades, and this night we are going to be making use of functions. There are functions. In the last section we talked about mathematical functions, statistical functions, and we went into test functions. Some test functions that we can use for data cleaning when we are to clean our data, to organize our data. We can use some test functions like concatenate, like trim, like upper, like proper. Those test functions, we can make use of them. But tonight we are moving into some functions like the logical functions. Tonight we are going to be making use of the lookup functions as well. We are going to be making use of the VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and some other functions. All right. Now let's get down to this aspect. Now we want to know from what he has in the test, in the exam score and the test score, what will be the grade? What will be the grade? What grade are we going to have here? So let me put kind of outside border here. Let me format this. Let's go to this, and then in this aspect I'm going to be making use of where is that? Going to be making use of this. Okay, is this one I'm going to be making use of. Okay, let me disable this. And then I will say okay. All right, now I need them to be separated in this form. Okay, now then what I will be doing now is I want to know if this in our criteria we have that for one to have A, the person have to score from, let's say for one to have A, the person have to score from 70 and above. Let's say the person have to score 70 above. For one to have B, the person need to score 60. Then the other one 50 we see. Then D is 45. Then E is 40. Then below 40 is E. Now tonight I'm going to be making use of nested if. After using nested if, maybe in the next section, in another section, I will be teaching us ifs. There is what is called nested if, which is part of what we refer to as nested function. So I'm going to be using nested if for now. Then in subsequent classes I will show us a more simpler version or a more simpler function to use, which is ifs. That's ifs. Now to do this, we are going to say equals to if, then we double click. If very English, if this plus this. Remember, the total exam score will be test score plus exam score. So whatever the test is, add it with the exam score, then you get the total score, which we ought to have added here in a minute, but due to time we might not be able to do that. All right, now I'm going to put this in brackets here, and then I'm going to put this in brackets. All right, let me remove, so that let me remove this color for now. After I will format it, let me remove that so that we can easily see the okay, now equals to if all right, to make it easier for us, I just noticed this will let me insert another cell and then put here total score total for English. Okay, that's, let me use my previous pattern I want to use. I think that one is better. All right, equals to if. Now if, let me put this in bracket, if this English plus English plus this plus this one, close the bracket, permit, okay, is greater than or equals to this, that's 70, comma. Now in Excel, when you are typing in functions, when you are putting in functions and declaring functions or trying to enter formulas, if is number, you can type it straight. If it's number, you can type it straight. But if it's a character or a text or an alphabet, you put it under quotation. So I'm going to put this under double quotation. So if it's greater than or equals to 70, give me a, then you put comma, put another if function again. That's why we call it nested if. If this first criteria is not met, Excel should check this second criteria. So we put brackets, and instead of going back, I will type L15. I will type L15 to select the previous. I will type L15 and plus T15 plus T15, and to make it easier, let me copy this, close the bracket, then let me copy it, Ctrl C, to make it easier for me. Then if that is greater than or equals to this, comma, give me B. Okay, then we have comma, put another if again. If that criteria is not met, let's do this next one. Then if this plus this is greater than or equals to this, then comma, give me C. Someone might ask, what if I decide to type them inside here? Of course, you can do that, your choice. But I prefer selecting a cell that tomorrow, if I need to edit it, that will be easier for me. Okay, now, if this criteria is not met again, I need another if. That's why we call it nested if. If this happens, let me paste this we have, then equals to greater than or equals to this, comma, then give me D, comma, and then we also have the last criteria, which is 40. Then I have to declare another if. So if this, let me paste our formula again because it's the same English we are working with, and then greater than or equals to this, comma, give me E. Then if this whole criteria, if you didn't meet all these criteria, if the result is not greater than or equals to 70, Excel will jump to check 60. If he didn't meet 60, Excel will jump to check 50. If he didn't meet it, we check 45, 40. If he didn't meet any of them, then you put comma. If he didn't meet any of these, then give me F. So that is the nested if function we can use to assign grades, performance of students, performance of staff, depending on the hierarchy, whether excellent, you can use that to put excellent, what do we call it, excellent, very good, good, poor, very poor, stuff like that. So once that is done, the number of brackets you open, that same number of brackets you will close. Now here, how do you know the number of brackets you open? That's the number of if statement you have here. So we have if 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and we have 5. So we are going to close it 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now once that is done, once we have been able to do that, we hit enter. So we can discover that this person is C, and if we check it with our eyes, this is that the English, the person scored here 36, and in exam 36, in test 21, and 36 plus 21 is 57, which is within the C range. Is within the C range. Now, what do we need to do? This is where it will get interesting. This is where it will get interesting. Now, what we need to do is that, watch, if I click this down, watch now, if I double click, you will notice something. You will notice something, that you have AF and stuff like that. And let's check this one that has F. Let's see if it is true that will be F. Now you see that this one that is being assigned F here, let's look at it. If you check our criteria, this is 35 and this is 30. The person is supposed to have B. So the reason being that there are certain stuff we didn't do in our first formula. And that is where it will lead me to bring to our notice what we call absolute referencing. Now see what happened when I double click here for other ones to calculate. Excel is using what we call relative reference. Excel is using what we call relative referencing. In other words, relative referencing means as I move one step with me. If I move 2 steps, move 2 steps with me. If I move 10 steps, move 10 steps with me. Now, what does that imply in our formula we just did? Now, see what happens here. This one, this is what gave us this, this and the other one is what gave us this. Now watch out, focus your attention on these ones, because that is our point of criteria. That's our criteria point, is our point of emphasis. Every data set here is referring to this, so pay attention to that. If I double click on this, you will notice that this one automatically, we are no longer referring to this. This is no longer referring to this, and that is why you look at this, it seems of a sort. So how do we ensure that this doesn't move? That as we drag down, that every other thing here, as this one moves, this one will not move. Watch out, this one move one step down, these other ones move one step down. If we move 5 steps down, watch out as well, this also moves. So our criteria is no longer valid. So that is what the challenge is here. Now what do we do in order to ensure that this doesn't move? That is only these ones that will be moving, so as to be referred to these cells that we are using as our comparison cell. That's what we are to solve right now. Now what do? What we will do is that we can come to our formula. This is X12. This cell here is X12. This one here is S12. That's the cell name, S12. This is T12. So to do this, we need to come to this S12 and then press F4 to lock it. Press F4 to lock it. So once I press F4, you will notice that a $sign has been assigned. There is $sign here in before X and before 12. That's what we need to do to all these cells that has criteria. So I will come to T12. I will come to T12, press F4. I will come to U12 and press F4. I will come to V12 as well and press F4, and then to this W12 and press F4. What I just did is to lock all these cells here so that it won't move. Now if I hit enter and then now double click again, you will now see that I have my record, my result, or my grade very, very valid. You will now see that the grade is very, very valid, highly valid. Okay, now the same thing is what we have to do in the same formula is what we will need to do in this particular what will I call it? In this, we need to do the same here and that. So if we look at this, we see the stuff we have declared. Now if you drag it this way, you are going to get a certain result. Now watch out. Now if I double click this, you will see that this moves to this, and this is still valid. This is here. Now let's check to the other one here. It moves to mathematics. So with that, provided that our data sets are arranged sequentially, this will definitely work for us. So having done that, I know some of us might be thinking, am I going to write these long formulas all over again for this one and this one? The answer there is no. So if I stretch this here and then come to this place double, so we check this and then we double click here, we double click here, and then we double click here. Okay, now with that we have done the grade points for this. With this we have already calculated A, B, whether the person scored A in English, the students that have A in English. Now let's look at let me freeze here, let me freeze okay, now this one is F. Let's see. Okay, it has 15 here. This one has 21. Let's see what it has in that. All right, that's that. So when we check this data set, we will notice that the result is valid. The result is valid. Okay, now we are going to be looking at the total score. How do we calculate the total score? Let me remove this formatting. How do we calculate the total score? The total score is simple. We say equals to this exam score plus exam score. Okay. Okay. Now, how do we calculate the total mark? Please kindly confirm if you can hear me. And if you are joining us, remember to drop your scholarship ID. Thank you. Remember to drop your name and your scholarship ID. Remember to drop your name and your scholarship ID. All right, this is total test score, this is total exam score, and this is total score. Now, to calculate the percentage score of the students, to calculate the percentage score, let me make everything here percent. So as to calculate the percentage score, I just want to make everything here percent. Just click on this place and click on percent. So everything here will be in percent. So the total, the percentage score will be the total score divided by the total score by the student divided by the overall score, overall total. Then we hit enter. That shows 59%. 59%, and then we can, if we drag this down, watch out. Remember, that's why absolute referencing is very, very important. Absolute referencing is very, very important. You are going to be making use of it as an Excel practitioner. Always remember to lock whenever you are referring to a particular cell. Now, what happens? We have 55 here, but watch. If I move down, this also move. If I move 3 steps downward, this also move 3 steps downward. And you, of course, you know whatever that divides 0, whatever is divided by 0 is error. Is error in mathematics. So how do we settle that? The same way I will come to this place, which is the overall total score, and press F4 to make it in percent, to put it in percent, and then I will hit enter. So as once I drag down, every other thing takes care of it. Beautiful, beautiful. This is very, very important. Now finally here, for us to know who is first in class, who comes first, who comes second, third, fourth, thereabout. If we want to know who is first, who came first, second, third, fifth, and that, they are the class rank. We are going to make use of this function. This function, please get these things and practice it on your own. We are going to use this function called rank. Now, when we type arrow A, this comes up. Now, this we are going to make use of rank EQ. That's what we are going to make use of. This is the one of average. if you have more than one, Excel will take the average of them, but we are going to be making use of this one. So we double click on it. It's asking us what number. This is the number. We select it. If you want to use, you use this, or if you want to, you use this. Any of them we go, but let me use this. So I will select that and then put comma. It will ask me what is the reference. What's the reference range I'm looking at? Is this range as well? I will hold Control, hold Shift and press down. Control Z. I need to select this one as well, and then hold Control, hold Shift and press down to highlight that entire range. And then this order is optional, it doesn't matter. If I put comma now, it will show me either descending or ascending. Either way is none of our business in this. So let me remove it. So that's how we calculate for class rank. Maybe first, second, who came first, who is the first in class, and stuff like that. Now we look at this, it brings 18. This person ranks 18. Now under this, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to highlight it and make it. I will lock it. I don't want it to move, so that if the other ones are moving, let it not move. Okay, I will hit enter. That is absolute reference. Please get that and get it clearly. Absolute referencing, and then we double click. Now once we double click, you now see the ranking. You see the rank. This person is first, and when you check it, that's the person that has the highest percentage total, or the percentage score, 72. If you look at the person that came second, that person is 71, and this person is also 71. But Excel understands, when Excel check this from here, this person has 96, but this person has 95. So if I want to look at their decimal, I can highlight this and come to this place and say increase decimal. Now once I increase decimal, you will now see the difference. You will see the difference. Let's say I increase the decimal by 2. You will see the difference between this one that is second and this one that is first. But when you round them up to the nearest number, it will look as if it's 71. But Excel being that Excel has the calculation here, it understands. So from here, we can now sort this. We can sort it either ascending or descending order. We can sort this data set by going over to this sort and filter, and then say smallest to largest. So we do that. Okay, that is cells that is being merged. So let me think this should be able to do that for me. Why is it not? Okay. All right. I understand what happens here, because of these guys that I merged together. Because of this, I merged together. Let me unmerge them so we can sort them, and maybe later we can merge. Let me unmerge this. Maybe later we can merge. Okay. Did I do another? Is there any? Okay, let me select this. All right. Why is it? Let me assign filter. Okay. Think I can now see where the challenge is. Okay, but in your own, I think I did certain thing in this data set that is making that to be sorted upward. But in your own, when you sort this, it will be in either ascending or descending order. That is how we can deal with this result sheet. This using the rank formula, you can be able to calculate the persons that comes first and the persons that comes last. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is this. Let's take, for example, let me remove this filter. Now let's take, for example, in this data set, let me freeze here. Let me freeze that place. Okay. All right, now I want to, what happened? Okay. All right, now I want to use this data set to know. We have already done this in our previous class. I want to get this the student, let's say first position. Now I want to know the name of the student with first position, and then the name of the student with second position, and then third position. Now the other time we did large function, we talked about large function and we talked about max function. And then tonight, to get the person's name, if we look at this place, we will see that is Olumide Adeniran is first in that regard. However, we can come here and say we can use this function XLOOKUP to look for the name of the student that came first. We can use XLOOKUP. Why we use XLOOKUP this time? We don't recommend VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP has its own constraints. HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup, VLOOKUP is vertical lookup. It has its own constraints. When we go further in this course, I will explain VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. But tonight, what I will encourage us to be using going forward, if there is any function you want to look up, find out where it is. XLOOKUP is the best fit for it. XLOOKUP is the best. Okay, now we can now go, let's get XLOOKUP. We say equals to type X. That's XLOOKUP. We double click on it. It will now ask us the lookup value. Now the lookup value is the maximum value. The lookup value is the maximum value. So instead of typing the maximum value we don't really know, or going here to type it or clicking on it from because we know. Let's take for example, we don't really know the maximum value. This is a very large data set. We can now come in here and put max. Introduce this function again. This is an aspect in Excel analysis we call nested function. Function inside another function. So we put max here, and then we can use this, or we use this to drag up here and select it. Let's come down. Let's come down. So once that is done, I close it. That is the lookup value. I put comma. Now where is the lookup array? The lookup array where we Excel look for that value. When it finds the maximum value, where we once it gets the maximum value, where will Excel look it up for? Is still here. So I press Control, hold Shift and up arrow, remove my hand from Control and press down so as to select this one. Now let me complete it from here. And then once I have done that, I press comma. Now the next Excel is asking is return array. Where does it, if it finds the maximum value in this, if it finds that maximum value in this particular array, what do you want Excel to return? So we want Excel to return the name. We select the range of the range of the names here by I made a mistake. It selected all these ones, but I only wanted this. Why is my hand going? Oh, okay. Now this is what I'm looking for. My hand mistakenly was moving, was selecting the whole range. So I'm looking for this place where it has the number. So let's see if it will bring the guy we already know. Let's see if from this data set, the guy that ranks first, let's see if it will bring it up. All right, and we hit enter. Okay. All right, I need to have closed the bracket. That's what Excel is asking me. I said yes. So we see it, Olumide Adeniran, that's the guy's name. Now, why this is very important, if we are working with a large data set, that would have been of an immense help to us. Okay, we are already fast spent on this. So this is how we can make use of XLOOKUP. And one thing about XLOOKUP is that it can find more than one cell. It can find more than one cell. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Now if I'm looking for both the student, if I'm looking for both the student name and the student ID, if I'm looking for both the student name and student ID, what I will do is that I will highlight these two columns. I will select them. So that is one good thing about XLOOKUP. But if it's VLOOKUP, you are using only one column. You are looking for just one range. But in XLOOKUP, you can look up for two. It can return two columns. So once I hit enter, you see it here. It returns this. it returns the ID and also the ID and also the name. So that is one powerful stuff about XLOOKUP. All right, now let's quickly move to the next aspect of the project we have. Let's quickly move to the next aspect of the project. Now, to handle this project here, we have been able to use both sum function. We have been able to use the nested if function. We have been able to use the percentage function, the rank function, and the XLOOKUP function. Now let's quickly move to the sales report table. This is very easy. I'm not going to spend much time on this particular record. I'm not going to spend much time here. So let's say we have this next store, and we have this item ID, item name, quantity, and then cost per unit, then total cost, selling price per unit, selling price, total selling price, profit, and percentage. So how do we get the insight in this and get the feedbacks? So let's proceed immediately. Please, if you are joining us, kindly, if you are in the scholarship group, remember attendance is mandatory. Drop your name and your scholarship ID. Okay. Now for total cost is simple, equals to cost times cost per unit times item quantity or quantity sold. So that is the total cost. Now this table is already formatted. This is a data set formatted in a table. I'm going to be showing us why it's different from what we did previously. Let me delete this before I run this. You will be seeing why you need to format your data set in a table. This one we run, you see that once I calculate something here, I need to double click before it fills it up. But now let's see what happens to the table, the one we already formatted as a table. This data set we already formatted as a table. Now if I say equals to, and I now have I said this times, that's cost per unit times item quantity or quantity sold. Now if I hit enter, you will notice that I don't need to do any other thing. Other ones have already been taken care of. That is the power of a table, formatting your data set in a table. Once I hit cost enter, other ones will take care of itself. I don't need to come here and then be double clicking again. That settles that. Then for the selling price, for the total selling price, that will be equals to selling price per unit times, that's your shift 8, press shift 8, that will be your times the item quantity sold, the total item quantity sold, and then hit enter. Every other thing is taken care of. Now profit is simple, equals to total selling price minus total cost price. That's the profit generated by that. So we hit enter. We have others having taken care of that. Then the percentage profit, before we calculate that, remember we need to make sure that this place is in percent. So you come here and then select percentage. So ensure that is done. So once that is done, for percentage profit, this is basic financial mathematics. Percentage profit is profit over cost price times 100 over 1. But in Excel, we don't need to say times 100 over 1. We have already assigned percent to it. In other words, we have already here, we say equals to profit divided by the total cost. That is what we will have here. And then we hit enter. That brings the profit percentage. That brings us to the profit percentage. Okay. Now, when you look at it, you will see that it's over 100%. This is total cost, this is total profit, is over 100%, this is definitely correct. Now, that is on how in sales report. Now, but before we end it, there are certain things in table we need to understand. Table, this is not just only the reason why we have to put table. Now, if there is something here, maybe you just have to add any notes or remark, and you put here remark, for example, and you move, automatically the table will absorb it as part of the table. So take note of that. It's a very important feature in table. Another thing we are going to be getting to understand in table as well is this important feature, which we call total row. This is very important. So once we put total row, we click on it, it will automatically assign a total value here, and then we can look at, if you need to know the total profit generated, if you need to find out the total profit generated, if you are putting just your scholarship ID, please, your name, your full name, and your scholarship ID, very important, please. All right, now if we want to find out the total profit generated, when you click here, you will see this drop down arrow, which gives you access to different stuff you can calculate on your own. So once you click on it, you can see average. If you want to know the average profit, if you want to know the count, if you want to know the maximum profit here, it will give you minimum, sum, standard deviation, variance. If you want to go to more function, you go. Now let's take, for example, we want to know the total profit. Automatically it will give us the total profit. If we want to get to see the average profit, we select here, it gives us the average profit. If we want to get to know the maximum profit, we select here, it gives us the maximum profit. So if you check this, 23 from here is the highest value here. So this is a very important feature. It's a very powerful feature in Excel, especially when you are working with tables. That's one of the things. And another thing I will let you know is that once you are working with table, try to name your table. It's very important, but I'm not going to be doing that now. When we get into designing dashboards, for the designing dashboards for insight, for reporting, pivot tables, then I will be emphasizing on that. Another thing that we can, a table is in this particular filter button. Now let's say we want to find out the top 10 items. Let's say you want to analyze this table, you need to know the top 10 items in terms of sales, the top 10 items in terms of sales, or in terms of profit, So we can come here, under the profit, we click down. Now once you click that, you come to number format, number filters. Under number filters, you go to top 10. You select top 10. Now let's say we want top 5. Let's say we want top 5 items in terms of profit. So reduce this to 5. You can type it yourself, delete and type any one that suits you. You can do that as well. And then we say OK. Now immediately we have here, Excel gives us the top 5 items. These are the top 5 items in terms of profits, in terms of profit generated. That's the top 5 items. So with this, you can get some insights when you are looking at top products, top 3 products, the best selling product. You want to get to know the best selling product as regards in terms of profit, the best product in terms of profit. You can use these functions, the filter functions, and then look at maybe greater than. Maybe you want to know that, okay, sales that are greater than, maybe you want to see profits, sales items that make profit that are greater than, maybe let me see, greater than, let's say profit greater than 15, let's say, is greater than so you see that this is profits greater than, this is 15,000 something. So it shows you the ones that is greater than 15. So these are certain things you can use when you format data set as in a table. You can run some of these analysis and get some insights from your table. Okay, now we can filter. So once we comes back, so this is in the filter button. You can also format it. You can also maybe sort this. You can come here and sort from smallest to largest. It will sort it from smallest to largest. That's your sort your data set as this smallest to largest. You can, or you can still want to sort it alphabetically, A to Z. So it will sort your item A to Z. That is on the aspect of sales table. Please confirm your I think I'm having a bit of network challenge here. Please confirm if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. I think I'm having a bit of network challenge. Network shouldn't worry me now. Network shouldn't worry. Please, can someone confirm if you can hear me? If you can see my screen, if you can hear me, please confirm. Can we see my screen? Can you hear me? Okay, beautiful. All right, beautiful. Someone have confirmed, yes, I can hear you and I can see your screen. Beautiful. Okay, we can proceed earnestly. We are on a route to liberate Excel. Okay, someone, okay, it's fluctuating, but I can see you. Yes, my transmitting software is giving me a bit of network glitch. All right, we are on a mission to liberate Excel tonight. Okay, we are going to be looking at how to design a payroll template. You can give it to anyone and the person can enter figures. You have calculated it, you have inserted the calculations, and it's just for the persons to enter whatever that is supposed to enter. Okay, now for this particular one, I'm going to be using certain function tonight. Tonight I'm going to be using it for those of us joining us for the first time. I want to generate a serial number for the employees. So I'm going to be saying equals to SE using a function called sequence. Double click, and let's say I'm generating a serial number for 25. I hit enter. Automatically it gives me that serial number. However, Excel is seeing it as a sequence, as a function, as a formula. Excel is not seeing it as a value. That if I click here, instead of Excel to see it as 2, Excel is seeing it as a function. So how do we change that. So I'm going to hold Control, hold Shift, and press down arrow, and then press Control C to copy, and then come to paste and say paste as value. So beautiful. Now press Escape. If you now see these two, Excel is going to be seeing it as values. All right. Then employee ID, I need to generate certain ID. So randomly, I'm going to use a function called rand between. So I say equals to, press arrow, rand between, double click on it. What's the bottom? What's the bottom is 100. The top is 10,000. Just generate within that range. Within the range, what this means, it will not go below 100. It will not go above 10,000. I hit enter. Now it gives me this value. However, if I double click down, it will generate for others, but Excel is still seeing it as a function, not as a value. So I need to copy and then go back here and paste it as value. All right, you now see that changes to this. I have generated that. I just did this for those of us that are joining us today. Now I'm going to freeze this part. I'm going to okay, let me freeze this part. Time might not be of essence for us tonight, but I pray we finish this tonight. Now for payroll, you have your serial number, employee ID, name, position, the basic salary, then the allowances. Let's say we have 3 allowances here: health, transport, housing. If there is any housing allowance, then we talk about our gross salary or gross pay. Then the income tax. The income tax we have under the deduction aspect is if the company is having to do anything like savings. And then we have pension. If the company is under pension, the staffs are under pensions, then we have pension, then penalty and loan. Penalty is if any staff is being penalized, late coming, maybe any penalty, failing of policy, and the person is being penalized, and that be here. Then loan, maybe advance payment upfront, maybe someone collected his salary upfront, that can be called a loan. Then after that, we will have our total deduction. Which I will insert here, and then we call it total deduction. All right. Now let me wrap it. I don't want it to be too long. Let me wrap it. Total deduction, and then and then net pay or net salary, annual salary, and so on and so forth. Now this is the heading of a standard payroll, as the case may be, but depending on the organization, depending on the organization, that will determine the allowances, that will determine the deductions you have here. Okay, now in health allowance, let's say the company is giving, let's say the under health allowance, I want to reduce this. Now let's say under the health allowance, the company is, let me make this, all this in percent. Let me put to this place, let me make it percentage. Okay, now let's say the company health allowance, let's say, is 12.5%. I don't know its assumption. On the transport allowance, let's say, is 9.5% transport allowance under assumption. Housing allowance, let's say, is 15% under assumption. Then income tax, let's say income tax, I don't really know for now, let's say it's 13%. Savings, let's say it's 10%. and then pensions, and pension is 8%. Pension is 8%. Income tax 13. I can't really remember. The mistake here. Let me remove this. Okay. Now this pension is 8% multiplied by BHT. I will explain that. That is okay. Someone is asking, assuming a new employee joins now, with the ID without changing ID numbers for older employees. Now it depends on the system you run. You can generate a new ID for those employees that join. You know the set of, like I used here, I use 1,000 to 10,000. You can use 10,000 to 100,000 and generate a new ID for them that is unique. Remember, each employee has their own unique ID. So it is left for you. It's depending on your own discretion as regards to the organization. What I just did here is to generate, which I know will not be the same. The easy way to generate random value, the easy way to do that. So is for teaching purposes. I'm using that. I have also used it to generate IDs for companies I consult for. I have used it to generate IDs for companies I consult for. So it is also on our own discretion to understand when and how to use those functions. All right. Those functions are something that is handy, that we can make use of and work faster and work very smart. In the next class, we are going to be on Monday. We are going to be looking more in details on Excel tips and tricks that will enhance our effectiveness and efficiency in our workplaces, in our career, in our academic endeavors. Okay, now we have set this. Health allowance is 13% of basic. I don't know how much. Let's say I'm designing this template for company. I don't know how much the person is earning, the software engineer is earning as basic salary. I don't know. I just need to design this template and hand it over to the HR or hand it over to the accounts, the department. So what do I need to do here? What's the 13% of health allowance? What that is, I will say, equals to basic times 13%. Why do I always recommend to type here? You can easily type 13% here. But what if tomorrow the percentage change? Maybe the percentage increase or the percentage decrease. Will you still come here and be changing it 13.1 and still be dragged down? No, that will not be helpful. So what I will just need to do is to come here and change it. Other things we calculate. So that is something we need to bear in mind. I always encourage us to make use of the cell address, not the values that is in the cell or that ought to be in the cell. So that is my way of work. And then once this is done, remember what we did in this result sheet. If I want everything, all their basic salary to be multiplying 13%, I want everything here to multiply by 13%. So if I hit enter and then double click, you see that I'm having error value. Because of what? If I double click this one step down and this one move, and anything multiply alphabet is error. So to avoid that error, I need to absolutely reference this cell, that everything here will be multiplied by 13. That is what we want. So to do that, I need to come here and press F4. If your F4 key is not assigning it straight on your key if your F4 straight, come before the alphabet, press Shift 4 and move forward, come before the number and press Shift 4 and press Shift 4. That's to assign it manually. But for me, my own F4 works. So I hit enter. Now I have absolutely referenced that. If I double click, you see that every other thing is, this one moves, but this is still here. It means whatever this person is earning times 13%. Okay, now the same process is what we are going to be doing here. We come here and say equals to basic salary times this allowance, which is 10%. I'm going to make it F4 and hit enter, and then double click. Now the same thing I'm going to be doing here, equals to basic salary times 15%. Ensure, remember to absolute reference it, enter, and double click down. Now our gross pay, all right, our gross pay here is, be equals to, or let me show us a bit of some stuff. Remember, our gross pay will be basic plus allowances. All the allowances, all the additions, that's the gross pay. If bonus, the staffs are have bonus to that is part of the gross pay. So if we are going to be, we highlight this to gross pay, and then go and select auto sum. That will automatically assign it for us. So that is gross pay. Now if you want to know whether that is correct, let's say the person is earning 2,000 naira, 2,000, you see automatically is being corrected. That is correct. Auto sum works that fast. Remember you need to highlight, and they need to be in serial form, and then up to the one you want to auto sum, and that is that. Then let's move together to look at income tax. Your income tax is, why is network trying to mess me up? The network is, please confirm for me if you can. I'm having a kind of network challenge here. Oh my God. Okay. Now for the income tax. The income tax is calculated on the gross pay, not on the basic salary. The income tax, let me draw this back. The income tax is calculated on the gross pay. So if we say equals to the gross pay times the tax percentage, and then remember to make it absolute reference F4 and hit enter. So that's what we have. Remember that always. If you are not into accounting or stuff like that, always remember that. Or if you are not into HR or accounting, the income tax is calculated on gross pay, not on the basic salary. The gross pay. Okay, that's the income tax. The gross pay, that's where it's being calculated on. Then the savings as well. Some companies does that on the gross pay, some does that on the basic, but generally practiced is savings is what maybe the company is saving 10% of the employee's salary. That means when the employee is leaving, is resigning or leaving, they calculate it and they pay him or her. That is part of his benefits or what is due to him. So the savings will be equals to the gross pay multiplied by the percentage. And also remember to make it absolute reference and hit enter. Then double click down. Now the pension, like you see here, that why I put this here is for us to always remember it. Pension is 8% times your basic house allowance and transport. If the company doesn't give house allowance, if it doesn't give transport allowance, it becomes 8% times your basic. So for here now, we are going to be doing this. We are going to say, I'm going to use the product function. I'm going to use product function, PROD, that's product. I'm going to use that, and BHT, that's HT. So I'm going to select this, then comma, and then this. So what that is that I'm multiplying this and this. That's what the formula for calculating pension, 8% times your basic salary times your housing allowance times the transport allowance. That's 8% multiplied by that 3. And then remember to make this absolute reference. Very, very important. F4, and then hit enter. And here we go. That's now penalty is optional. If the person has any penalty, and loan if any person has any loan. So these ones is depending on what happens within the month. Then for total deduction will be all the deductions. That's the total deduction. So we are going to use the same approach. I will highlight everything here all to the total deduction. Okay, for this total deduction to work, let's say this person has penalty of 70,000 and he took a loan of 12,000, for example. So here I'm going to highlight this place and then select auto sum. Now auto sum will do its work, and that's, let me delete this as well. So this is what we have here, and then I will double click. We have this. Now what will be our net pay? Our net pay, what will now be our net pay? Our net pay will now be equals to, or net salary, depending on what you are called, what you call it in your organization. It will be equals to your gross minus your total deduction. That will be your net salary. Your gross minus your total deduction. That is what we have here, and then double click down. That is being calculated. Now your annual salary will be equals to your net salary. Your net salary times 12. That's your annual salary. Now if it's a company that is doing 13th month's salary, that is offering 13th month salary, that will become 10 times 13, and then we hit enter. And if there is overtime, that's also under your gross pay. Your gross pay, if you have overtime, you also put it under. It will also appear on other allowances, like it will appear under other allowances. If there is, let's say, overtime, bonuses, remember it will also appear. Part of that will be part of your to now calculate your gross pay. Okay, now that we double click, we already at 9:30. I'm rushing to see how fast I can go. Okay, now the next here is daily pay. Daily pay will be equals to our annual salary or our annual salary divided by 365. That's the daily pay. Then we hit enter, and 365, we double click. Weekly pay will be equals to our annual salary divided by 52, and we hit enter. That we double click to get that, and this is what we can refer to as our template. So that means if someone is earning 120, if someone is earning 120,000 as basic, now this is what the net salary of the person is. Let me double click here. This okay. Okay, now that is because this is in let me remove some decimal. Let me remove some decimal. No, it shouldn't be giving me this. What do I have here? Wait, I think I did a bit of error here. Let me check. Then product is this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this. I need to check, but I think and then F4. Hit enter. I'm correct. Is correct, and the total deduction is this. All right, that should be correct. Yes, gross pay minus total deduction, that is correct, and then annual salary, that is correct. Okay, that is correct. The mathematics there is correct. Is this 0 E is there? That is okay. That's custom stuff. I need to change it to I need to change it to number formatting and say is less. Okay, now this reminds me I have to format everything here. I need to format everything here to accounting format. So let me select Control and hold Shift, press down arrow. It shouldn't do this. Okay, let me use this format. Hold Control, hold down, and let me format this. Now once I highlight all that, I can come here and then format as number. Once I select that, if I need it or if you want it in accounting format, which is with 2 decimal places, you can put as an accounting format. If you want it in number, but for now let me put it in number. But if it's a financial data, I will encourage you to format it. Let me use this accounting. You format it in accounting figure, which we okay, no. let's use the number. When we enter figure, that's when we can format rightly so that we don't confuse ourselves here. Okay, now if I enter 120 here, the other ones take care of itself. Yes, that's wait. What did I calculate here? What did I calculate here? No. This is error calculation. Okay, this is error calculation. I think that is not correct. Percent of the sum of that. Okay, that will be this times, then I open a bracket, this one plus this plus this. That is what I should have. Yeah, that's what I should have. It's kind of a bit error on my part. Okay, now that is what we have here. That's what we have on this particular payroll template. Please take note of this stuff here. That's what we have. Tempted to, I supposed to end this now. Tonight my plan was to handle 5 projects, 5 real life workplace projects, but due to time will not be on our side for this night. What I wanted to look at here is performance bonus, how to know the staffs that deserve bonus, those that doesn't deserve, what's their bonus amount, how to calculate it, the criteria, what and what functions that we can use, and then wrap it up with a university resource sheet, how to calculate your grade points, how to calculate the weighted points, even the CGPA, and then the rank. That was mentioned tonight. However, we have been able to handle the school result, we have been able to handle sales report, and we have been able to handle payroll report. Now the next stuff we are going to be doing is to handle reward and result sheet. Okay, now having done this, our project, those of us in the scholarship group, our project for this week, remember, your project is what stands for your certifications. The project, every person to be certified must finish their project. They must do their project. To be certified, you must get your project. Being certified as a data analyst with Microsoft Excel, you must tender your project. And this is our first project for the week 1. Your first project is to prepare a school result sheet. Prepare a school result sheet of 50 students. Prepare a school result sheet of 50 students. Prepare a full sales report sheet of 50 items, and then prepare a payroll. Prepare a payroll of 50 staffs. That is the assignment for this week. 3 projects you are going to be doing using calculations. I'm going to be monitoring all the projects. You calculate it, use calculations, put it effectively. So the first project is to prepare a school result sheet where you grade it A, B, and then get their ranks. Get me who is the best student. Get me the best student, like we use the XLOOKUP. Get me the best student, use the ranks, and then the sales report. Get me the basic analysis, do different basic analysis as regards to the filter, and then the total row. And then in payroll, at the end payroll, you prepare a payroll template. I don't need figures. I need payroll as a template like this, that if I enter the numbers in the basic salary, others we calculate. So that is the 3 projects we are going to be running with. And those of us in my platform, in a platform I belong, Ambassador Network, if you also want to participate in the project and want me to evaluate it and look at it and see how far you have done, also feel free, be part of it and send it to me. But those in the scholarship program, is a must for all of us. It's a must for all of us. If you are to be certified, get the certificate as a data analyst with Microsoft Excel. The project is a must. This is not exam-based scholarship. It's project-based scholarship. And this is where we will be wrapping up for tonight's section. I want to appreciate us. Our sections are always Monday, Wednesday. Our sections are always Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I remain your facilitator and I remain your host, Mr. Franklin. I'm a data analyst, recruitment and management consultant. See you guys next week, and do have a lovely night rest. Good night.